It's a pleasure to be here again and again and again, and it's always a new knowledge, new horizons, new ideas, and yeah, it's. I really like that people still meet in person. It's a treasure that we sometimes forget. Today I will talk about sensitive topic, fragile topic, which is success and failure. And sometimes we don't like to talk about it, sometimes we do like to talk about it, but I'll try to put some jokes in between so it's not that sensitive. So, eazyBI project implementation, timeline and risks. And yeah, I will share my experience working with eazyBI and FlexBI projects worldwide. That has been for the last 10 years already, I think, or more. And yeah, we are also certifying partners and helping to maybe see different perspectives. As a FlexBI consultants, we work with the mixed data project. So Jira is one of the sources, and there can be plenty different other sources. So I will share my experience from that point of view. On daily life, business users, you have to interview them, and you have to be ready to perform that magic. And what they expect from you is very precise result. A very precise result in almost 100% uncertain situations. Well, I'm of course exaggerating a little bit, but more or less we work in a lot of unpredictability situation, and that's a bit challenging and can be sometimes frustrating. As you can see, I will talk a lot about feelings today. So technical people, feelings, that's what we maybe need, maybe not. Also, have you ever felt lost in your project and calculations? In a situation where you kind of do everything right, you do calculations, they're still not maybe as you expected them to be, you understand that there's some other metrics involved, and you need to do it again, and you're not sure if that project will be successful in general. I have been in these moments where we sit with our technical team and we think, okay, we can't solve that. But somehow, step by step, trying to dig in that pile, you start to get some little bits and pieces that help you to get to the result. Also, have you ever felt like you are not welcome in a project at all? That all your knowledge, all that you come with, is not welcome, and you look at someone who's really technically active and digging deep into after the result, and all the other team is just waiting. That's an excellent way how to little bit waste time and money, but still there are many situations when this is happening, and observing it through the years is just something you can notice and maybe find out some little fixes how you can still make those projects successful. Have you ever felt lost in your own ideas? As eazyBI and all the other analytics platforms have so many possibilities. Technically, everything's possible. There's so many charts, there's so many visualizations that we could do. But what should we measure? How do we know where to start? And in all the technical tools still don't give any result without clear vision of what we want to achieve. Yeah, so in a project, we always have to be focused first on what we want to achieve. So, and have you ever felt that you just need help. There are books and there are courses about business analytics, but sometimes, especially when you start, you feel like there's so much going on, there's so much unknown, there's so many technical aspects, so you just need a little help. I was actually surprised how many jokes there are in internet about business analytics process. So I found it very entertaining, as you can see. But being a magician is not easy. So I will try to give you some practical advice from my experience that can help. So let's look at different aspects that can affect a project success and look at it from perspective of humans that are involved in the project, because to be successful project, we must make successful people who are part of this project. Yeah. So let's look at the project from this perspective. So every project basically is a change. Change means that we are losing something that was before, and we are moving to something new. And just imagine you always had a path where you go to work, and you wake up in the morning, it's not there anymore. You feel sometimes curious, sometimes not too interested, sometimes just mad, and you have to adapt to the change. So implementing any project most of the times is working with the change management in people's mind, in your own mind, and thinking about project from that perspective can help. eazyBI is a data analytics platform, and these projects have some specifics that we need to think about and not ignore. There's a lot of unknown scope. If you look at the project at the end and at the beginning, what was requested, most of the cases the scope would be changed by 80% or even more. It's nothing wrong with those people. They just can't know what they don't know yet. And when they start to work with eazyBI, they learn the possibilities. They understand, oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I never knew I could do that. So they get these new ideas. So that's absolutely normal that the scope can change. There's a lot of creativity, which is an exhausting process from both sides. So we have to be creative as partners, as consultants, and also people who work in a company and who use eazyBIs, they also have to be creative. So it's not something, creativity is not something you can do constantly day by day, and it requires a lot of resources of the mind. So that's why there can be some little gaps in a project, which is absolutely normal. Also there's a lot of choices, yeah, so choosing charts, choosing visual views, how we're going to present it, how we're going to divide the users. Yeah, so we have to, in a situation where many things are possible, we having a kind of paradox of choice that we have too many opportunities, and sometimes it can be confusing. And the change management is consistent. So we have to think about change as a normal situation, because when we get to new tool, we have new opportunities, and we have new ways how we work with the system in general, and how we start to think. So we have to adopt. So 5 common reactions to the change that people get. So the first one is action. We immediately start to act and work and solve the problem and work towards the goal. It can be positive, and it can be sometimes also be negative, depending who is performing the action. So if there's some very technical person who is starting to program things before the management has decided what should be done, it can be also not that good. But action is being part, and it's easy to manage within a project. There can be people that decide to minimize. So they try to change as little as possible. It means that maybe they don't feel secure. Maybe there's too much pressure on them already at work, and they are not ready to give their effort. So that's also something we can manage in a project, and we can try to figure out and work maybe with all the parts involved that more resources are needed, or maybe somebody is rejecting the change and they don't want to be full on in this project. Yeah, so there can be some who are showing resistance. I don't like that. I don't like the change. That's not for me. I really like the previous way how it was, and I'm not planning to do it in a new way. And in those cases, mostly it's the question whether of the personality that in general is resistant to change. Some people are just not that drawn to change. Yeah, probably you have noticed that. Or there can be also a value issue or management issue that there's not a common understanding about how important this is in general for the company to implement eazyBI, to get these answers fast, and not a clear these benefits that we're going to get from it. And there can be also people who stay in distance. They kind of participate, but they say, okay, you do your thing. I will just watch how you do it. So they're not saying no, they're not saying yes. And you can work with those to convince them, approve them that they can get benefits, and then they can be involved. Working with all these types of reactions is very important to get the project success. And actually, that's where the success hides. And as you can see, it's quite emotional process to release the old and get the new. Even if it's bright and shiny, we sometimes just find it hard, especially in a world where things are changing so fast and we have to accept so many new things during the day even. Yeah, it's not even in a month. So every day something new comes, we have to adjust. So people have a little bit of already this resistance to something new. Yeah, so we have to be really caring and gently. So from more, I would say, not the technical, but more structured perspective of people in general, people divide in innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. When we started 10 years ago, we were working mostly with innovators. Yeah, it was those who were really brave. They were ready to work with knowing nothing, what will be results, because mostly people are asking, what is that society that, or business society that, or businesses that will be ready to adopt this technology? Yeah, because most of the people are only the followers, so they will follow if somebody already has done that. Also, every project, I have had situations when everything technical is good, the reports are good, the process is good, but it just doesn't work. And if we dig deeper, we find out that the reason hides behind the personal perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. If somebody is interested, you can Google technology acceptance model. I've done some models also from BI perspective, but I will not get too technical. So that's just interesting topic of research. So people, if they're not convinced that this will be easier, they will not jump in, because we are just lazy sometimes as well. We are not wanting to waste our energy, because the energy can be very easily wasted. And so it can be very personal aspect as well. Nothing technical, nothing that something's wrong. So it can be a very technical reason for that. So actually, a decision about the project, if it's going to be successful, is made in the hardest part. So when we get to the bottom of this curve, so this is where a decision is made. And that's where you have to support your team the most. Because innovation comes only when we are out of this little hole where everybody's angry. So that's where you have to pay attention to people the most. If somebody's interested, you can search the Franklin Covey change model, which describes every stage in detail. I will little bit say about preparation stage. So clarify the project, if that's essential for the company. That's something you need to be sure. Actually, in preparation stage, you can diagnose all the issues that I mentioned before to understand if what is the temperature. Yeah. So try to prepare people for the hard times. Don't say it's going to be easy. It's always hard. Define the scope, but stay flexible. Don't use very fixed budgets or fixed methodologies. And let them talk about their risks and insecurities, because then they will be more free to also accept the technology in general. So top 5 common risk factors that I have researched in my work that I've done a couple of years ago. But it's the first one is there is no management blessing. If there is no management blessing, at some point you will still get into the corner where you can't get enough budget or you can't get enough resources. It's neglected. There'll be other priorities. So there must be a management acceptance for the blessing for the project that you're doing. If there's more than one analytics tool, like nowadays it's absolutely normal to have more, but it's a tricky situation. It's very tricky to have someone who has a total different universe in a company, so different analytics, self-built solution that they are managing and still want to stay fixed with that. If there's not enough resources, not enough budget, so that's something you can feel at the very beginning. Not enough people, there will be no dedicated person who will be ready for testing and so on. Or it's not a good moment for the company. Or you have done a lack of training, or just showing what you have built. These 5 factors were the top 5 for those projects who had the lowest acceptance rates. I was analyzing 76 projects done worldwide. And that's why I recommend to pay attention to these things. The only factor we can't really fight from those that I mentioned, the rest we can. At least they're manageable. It is the company cycle factor. So it's like you have a teenager and you try to tell them all these good things that you know and then you should, and it's just not working because they are not ready for that. So sometimes projects fail just because the company is not ready at that particular time. It doesn't mean that they will not be in some year or two. Yeah, some customers come back several times. But it's still something, we can't really affect that. Yeah, companies grow in their own pace. So what we can do, we can hold hand and support. We can be there and sometimes have non-technical discussions that maybe sound so unreasonable when we need to talk about it, so obvious. But for them, it's so important. Also, we can be precise and guide. We can build different structures and we can build different schemas to explain them how data is connected. We need to be the ones who are the captains of the ship. Yeah, so we keep the expertise, we help them to navigate in their own data jungle, not saying that why you have this bad data, but we try to help them to fix it. Also, we can choose the right methodology. Not everybody is ready for Agile, because not all businesses know what is Agile, and if they're not, you have to choose the methodologies they can understand and work with. I like spiral methodology and interval method, which is quite good in unknown circumstances. Waterfall is something I would not recommend. Also, try to neutralize these bad factors. So try to, if you have diagnosed at the beginning that there's no management blessing, try to talk with them, try to meet them, try to meet the stakeholders, because at the end of the day, in 2 years, the project will not be alive if the stakeholders are not involved. Try to make people believe that it's something useful for them and it will help them. So spiral model, I'm not showing the other ones. I just want to mention spiral model because it requires the most of magic, because there's nothing known and you're just building from nothing. And it requires dogmatic management, but I would recommend, and the budget is unpredictable, but you can help to navigate people very complex situations and very complex data jungle. So, the takeaways. Some projects will fail and you can't do nothing about it. They just fail. Most projects will need more time and will be more complex than you think at the beginning, because there you will just find out, and the customers will find out that there are so many opportunities. It's so interesting. Planning is the key. Do the planning and you can avoid many unwanted situations at the middle or at the end of the project. And there can be never too much support for the end users. There are some articles that I will share, so if you want to learn the success, you have to study the failure, and that's where you can find the answers that can help you day by day. And there are 2 bonus jokes I liked, especially that one. Thank you so much, and hope it was useful. And don't take it so seriously, because it can be actually very fun to help to navigate the data jungle, even if it's very hard, especially in those cases. Thank you.